Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and I'm a trained psychic. I was supposed to be here at 7 o'clock at night. It's 7:41, but you know what? Nobody else seems to respect order. People have been getting away with murder in this country, literally. 10,000 kids put in a secret program in the 40s. I was one of them, and nobody actually believes the story. So nothing's done about it. And some of the abusers are still alive and threatening us, those of us that are awake enough that we could become a problem. So, why on earth would I worry about starting this chat on time? I'm hoping that these chats that I'm giving you are making you wake up and you're not just sitting there judging me, because that just sitting there and actually not having your intelligence of the heart operational has put us in a very bad situation, which takes us to the theme of this chat today. And this is going to be very short. I need to take care of myself. The Mayans said in a prophecy that was discovered, I think, after 2012, it's called the Tortuguero Prophecy, and I will put it here. And it's the last part of the Tortuguero Prophecy. There's like 6 or 7 different things that they talk about in the Tortuguero Prophecy. And what they said, and I've known this for several years, is that at the end of end times, which is now, humans would get in contact with what we call in psychology your dark side, their dark side. And it would create such chaos that basically that would be what would be the ending of the world as we know it, big time. The world as we knew it ended in 2012 in the other dimensions. We're just now getting the effects on the physical dimension. Go ahead and read it, but it's the last part that's important. They said that all of us have sub-personalities within us. And in psychology, they know that the parts of you that you don't like, you kind of like put away. You don't remember, you don't think, it's so different from who you really are. We all have that. Some of us have it worse. But today I realize that countries are the same way. The United States has a dark side that is going to wipe us all off the planet if it's not dealt with effectively. And the lead in that is sex and sex trafficking and child sex trafficking. That's the dark side. The same way a person can get sick, planets can get sick, countries can get sick. This country is sick. And it's sick because of its dark side that nobody has really wanted or had the strength to deal with. So I suggest that you do a mantra where you start to incorporate gracefully your personal dark side. The trick of the matter is that we are light, and then we have things that need to happen in order to play out our part in the planet's history, process, whatever. But it goes against our grain, so we hide from it. We don't remember. We go into a state of shock. We put the information away in order to function, and then we don't remember. And years later, it comes up, and we're like, "Oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, now I remember." Or, "Oh my God, I did that." And "Oh my God, I did that" throws you into the shame. And Mr. Trump, I think you're going to be president of a country that's going to go down in shame. It's not going to need any external enemies. So I suggest there needs to be a plan to address the dark side of the United States so that it doesn't go down in shame, because shame is the lowest vibration of all of the emotions. And it will take you down. And you could be a great person doing great things and remember one thing or a series of things that is shameful to you. And you could end up destroying your entire path. And that darkness was supposed to position you. You chose that darkness before you incarnated. I chose the life that I was in and the things that I had to do in this mind control program, most of which are you just can't even discuss in therapy. And I chose it for a reason. And thank God my sister told me 30 years ago, remember, you chose that. You chose it. And I went, you're crazy. Nobody can choose this. So I want to tell you what my sister said to me. You chose your darkness. Now face it. And it's so easy today. Not 30 years ago, you do a mantra. This is the mantra. If somebody would put it up, I would really appreciate it. Please, God, help me with my intention to miraculously and gracefully accept my darkness. Please, God, help me with my intention to miraculously and gracefully accept my darkness. President Trump, if you don't have a change in the way you view the perpetrators of sex crimes, you're going to take down the country because it's too big a percentage of the population. And you won't have accomplished anything. You're just going to be pushing people back further into their darkness. You know how you had the amnesty program having to do with turning in guns? Something of that nature needs to happen. I can tell you from my personal experiences in watching through decades of this mind control thing that a lot of the people involved in the sex trafficking would never have been there if they weren't somebody wasn't holding a gun to their head and then somebody's holding a gun to that person's head. If you do not take that into consideration, President Trump, you're going to take the whole country down because your lens is not wide enough. You need to widen it. Read the Tortuguera prophecy. It'll take you a while to integrate it. And then understand that all of this is a process that was determined by all of us before we came in. And this country was at the lead. It was the country, it has been the country that everybody admired the most. Wouldn't it be incredible if we could face our darkness in this country in a way that is spiritual? I'm not talking just, oh, we forgive all these people. I'm not saying that. But the saying that the people are going to be put to death and they're going to be put in jail, you don't have enough jails. You do not know the extent that this has been allowed to control society. The number of people who have guns to their heads and they're doing things that they wouldn't have done. And then, of course, the number of people who are holding the gun. And then if you go back to original, you'll find that something happened to them when they were young, that they would be capable of doing that. So you got to stop that whole thing. You have to handle this in a way. And I'm not saying that I have the solution. What I'm saying is that the solution that exists today means we're going to end up exactly the way they said the United States was going to end. In deep despair, darkness, and people killing each other. At this point, the intelligent thing for people to do is to kill people like me. Of course. Shoot the person that could give the evidence that is reliable and is not looking for money, whatever. So, President Trump, you need to wrap your head around this in a very innovative and spiritual way that will take into consideration that we chose this before we came in, that this is a process that we're here to show the rest of the planet how to handle darkness, which is not to kill the person that was the one that exercised that energy. So I have been dealing with banks, Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. We're not going to go into, but the darkness is very deep. And there are groups behind the scenes that have invaded all the institutions. And now the light is being shown, and now this is a little bit of a problem. So the solution not only has to be innovative, It has to incorporate what is happening historically on the planet. We are not in the same as before. We're going into a new cycle. The heart center, which is an energy center called the heart chakra, the name means no sound. It means there's not two things hitting each other, which is how you create sound. Well, one of the ways you create sound. I'm not that type of scientist. What it means is there's no battle between light and dark, male and female, left and right. The putting to death all these people and saying that you're going to put to death all these people is basically hitting up against them. That's not where you want to be. We're supposed to enfold our personal darkness, process it, accept it, so that we don't just get completely eliminated due to the level of shame. As a society, we need to do the same thing. How do we do this exactly? I don't know. Do not go to psychiatrists and psychologists. They cannot deal with volume of anything too emotional. They cannot deal with it. All that stuff is going to come out of the healing movement, the alternative movement, because the professionals have never been able to hide it effectively. They're still in the paradigm of they did something bad to you. And that's not going to work. President Trump. Because too many people in this country have been caught up in this web of evil. So I'm going to look and see if I have the video still here on this platform. Yes, I do. I am going to put a video up that I did before 2012. And coincidentally, it talks about what's happening in the Mideast. I want you to breathe as you're seeing it. I'm not getting back on camera to say goodbye to you. I'm over it. I'm really tired. Today is Tuesday, so I should be back tomorrow, and I should be timely. Look at this and breathe as you see it, and then apply it to yourself and President Trump. Apply it to this country. Please.
We are ending a cycle on planet Earth, and it is time that you understand your relationship to good and evil in the history of the planet. I have a story to tell you. It may help to explain a lot of things in your life, but also help to give perspective on the history of the planet. It may change the way you view the transformation planet Earth is going through now. I had a session years ago with a client who was a really nice man, but with considerable darkness in his life. I asked how I could help him, and he said he did not know. The time with me was not his idea. I said I would look at his planetary history to find the most important information that would help him to understand himself. I went back to his life in Lemuria, the civilization before Atlantis. An angel appeared to him saying, "We need your help." He responded in that lifetime, "I'm willing to help. What do you need?" They said what they needed was difficult, and he responded that he was willing. They said a darkness had come over the planet, and most souls were too weak to handle the darkness. He repeated he would help. What did the angels need from him? They said they needed him to take on the darkness, as many souls were too weak. He responded, "I will do it." They told him it would be hard because he would not remember, and he might get lost in the darkness. He said he would do it for the others. Widen your lens, and it might help you to understand the violence and conflict today on planet Earth. Perhaps the most important aspect of your life in relations to others is not that you are Jewish or Christian or American or French or Iranian. Perhaps the most important aspect of you is that you are from planet Earth, and there are others out there that are different and have different intentions from those who are from here. Perhaps now we really need to understand what is going on. We are in a final battle between light and dark on planet Earth. We need to widen our lens to know who we are and who our true enemies are. We are multidimensional beings. We have parts of ourselves in several dimensions at a time. We are energetically structured like the tree of life, which is the backbone of our multidimensional system. Our individual sacred tree of life is our chakra system. Its central axis is the trunk of the tree of your life. It is your holy grail, with its funnel-like structure at the top, drawing in off-planet energies, and a funnel-like shape at the bottom, drawing in earth energies. Unfortunately, the top of your tree of life will be filled with the energy of Xibalba, what the Mayans call the path to the underworld, and scientists call the dark rift because of the alignments of the planets, which complete on December 21st, 2012. Unfortunately, the bottom of your tree of life, your holy grail, is already susceptible to the energies from Xibalba due to Earth's broken Brahmavara. Who is going to take on the darkness from the broken Brahmavara in the Gulf of Mexico? Who is going to take on the darkness that will enter the planet via the supermassive black hole that is aligning with planet Earth? Who will go to war to process the violence and conflict that is pouring onto the planet now? Who will kill and maim and be killed and injured to protect those of us who are not strong enough to process those energies? If it is true that Jerusalem is to be the site of the final battle between light and dark, good and evil, then the peoples who spiritually chose to carry the dark energy poured onto the planet are sacrificing themselves for all of us. Jerusalem, Israelis, Palestinians, Colombians, Iranians, all willing to battle for all of us souls, sacrificing themselves by processing the energies of conflict and violence so that we can be free. As in Lemurian times, a darkness is now entering the planet, and there will be souls who will sacrifice themselves for the rest of us.